Hey y'all, welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And we have a special episode for you today. I'm very excited about it because this season we are talking love letters to our children. Things that maybe, you thought about, you'd want to ask your parents, and maybe someday our children will want to hear from us about. And we have guests, Asasha and Jason Francis. And they are godmommy and godpappy in our house to our three children.
The godparents.
There
we go.
And we are also godparents to their children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really wonderful episode of sharing knowledge and wisdom and a little bit of insight. Because we say this all the time, like, what's something you want to know from your parents? What's something you ask them now that we are fully adults? And we are in our adulthood, and they are also adults. Like, we can have these adult conversations, So, yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah. So what's the topic of today?
Oh, the topic. Thank you. The topic of this episode is heartbreak.
Okay.
And it's so funny because heartbreak is very vast and it could be a lot, but I'm specifically talking about romantic heartbreak because as a teenager, I remember being very emotional, and I remember which one of my parents would soothe my emotions and which one of them would, want to make them go away quickly. They both cared, but one of them was like, all right, let's feed you. Let's get some ice cream. Let's make you feel better. And one of them was like, you want to talk about it? You want to,
Uh-huh.
And so we talk about heartbreak in this episode. And because we do, and they do, both of us have 3 children.
Yeah.
6 between the 2 of us.
Yeah.
Our times are very valuable together. So that's where it's at.
Yeah. So here's the interview.
Hey y'all, welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsey Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And I'm so excited about this episode. Okay, so this season is Love Letters to Our Children. And we are joined by none other than Asasha and Jason Francis, aka Godmommy and Godpappy. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
I'm a day one fan.
Thank you.
You gotta throw that out there.
Okay? I'm essentially before day one because I've known them well before me. So
I'm talking about the podcast.
Yeah, all that life in general. Before the podcast was even born.
These are for real ride or die supporters, and I really appreciate it because right now we're doing our first one that we've ever done after dark because of scheduling.
Yeah, because we all got kids.
We got 6
all the kids.
All the kids, and our kids are asleep right now, so we're really praying that nobody wakes up. It's like, and where are my babies? Where are my god babies?
They're all eating, and Nuri is eating, and she's quiet. So
let's get to the
That's what
core.
I'm saying, y'all. You know what? Commitment and consistency is the game right here. Okay. So the topic of this episode that our children want to know about us, they're going to say, have you ever experienced heartbreak? Romantic heartbreak. Like, when it's like, oh my gosh, mommy, what happened? What happened, daddy? My heart is ripped out of my chest and I feel like this boy or this girl or whatever the case may be, I love them and here we are. Tell me your story. So this is how we are going to talk to them because it's a little bit more present now-ish, but have you ever had heartbreak? Tell me about it.
I knew his.
Name him with me first. So I had to really think about this question, and I think it's funny because Aaron is gonna have an opinion. I'm fairly certain about this.
Yes, I always do.
But yes. So when I preface like heartbreak, I mean like sad crying.
Yeah, man.
I was 13 years old.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm
no,
crazy.
Real, like,
Yeah.
And
it was like a boyfriend that like my mom let me have because I wasn't really supposed to have boyfriends, but she was like, go ahead, do this because I know it's not going to work right, which she was right. It took like 2 weeks. It only took all of 2 weeks for it to end, but it was a boy. His name was Jonathan Dutton. specifically remember it. It was my first year of school in the Valley because we had moved from LA to the Valley, and he was cool. Like he was my friend. I think we were like TAs when you used to like work in the office and like pass notes and stuff like that. I can't remember what it was, but nonetheless, one of my friends told me, friends in quotation marks, told me that she thought he was cute. And I told him, just me being, I don't know, naive. I'm just like, she said that you were cute. Ha 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 ha, thinking nothing of it. 2 weeks later, he broke up with me. A week later, he was with that girl.
Oh my God.
Player.
This is what you're talking about. These are the people we don't want
Mind
around.
you,
Wait,
I still
make
had
sure
class with her.
you quoted that. All right.
Uh-huh.
These are people we don't want around our kids.
Oh,
We don't.
100%. And the crazy thing is too, because middle school drama is like the worst drama. So everybody else knew it was coming but me. But it was after school. All of our friends were there. And mind you, he was Asian and Black. I was Black. I was like the new Black girl. So all the Black kids hung out with each other. This is in the Valley, like in the 2000s, So we always all met up at the same place after school. I literally lived across the street from the school. And he comes outside and he walks up to me. Everybody else is standing in the back and they just look and he's like, yeah, like we just gotta like break up. I don't think I want to be with you anymore. And I was like, okay, like bet. I had to like, keep a straight face. I'm gonna keep my game face on. Like, can't let him see you crack. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went home and I was just bawling. But then to add insult to injury, the girl was my friend in PE.
Oh.
Always do our little stuff together in PE. So I can't remember how I knew they got together. I don't know if I saw them or if she told me, but I remember like, I don't remember any like the details of that part, but I do remember one day her like telling me like, oh yeah, my mom made him like beans and rice, like she made him frijoles, arroz, and like all this stuff or whatever.
Oh.
And she's like talking to me about him as if it's like that wasn't just my man.
Right.
But I'm like, y'all gotta be kidding me. And I'm never gonna let you see me crack. Like you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna get that out of me. But boy, I would go home and cry my little eyes out. And I was so sad. One, because he did that to me, but then two, because my mom was right. And she like, you shouldn't be with him, but she let me do it just to kind of prove a point. And I think she already knew that was going to happen to me. And that was when I realized, you know what? This may not be the life for me.
But what did your mom do after it happened? Like, was she like, I told you so? Or was she like,
Pretty much.
Okay.
She
Dang.
pretty much was like, I knew that he wasn't going to be like right for you, and that wasn't like you weren't ready to date, essentially. Which I think she was right, but I think that like growing up, it was like, don't have boyfriends, don't do this. Like it was always like that. And a lot of my mom's parenting was out of fear that she didn't want me to end up doing the things or making the mistakes that she made. Instead of like talking to me and like having more conversations about some of the things, it was more so like, no, 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 no. And this time she just kind of like let me go out, understanding what was going to happen. And so I don't actually even remember. I don't remember even like, oh baby, it's gonna be okay. Like, I don't remember any of that. I just remember her kind of being like, yeah, kind of like, I knew this was gonna happen. I'm trying to like prevent you from getting to this. But I remember having to like just suck it up and like dealing with it myself. I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. But that's the only time I remember like crying, being heartbroken. My high school boyfriend, we were technically broken up. Like we dated during high school and we knew that at graduation I was going away to college in Florida. So I was like, we're not going to do a long distance relationship. This isn't going to be the thing. And so we were cool. We broke up, I think, literally like the last day of school. Summertime, we were cool. We would hang out every now and again, but we weren't like technically together. And I went to school in Miami. And I found out that over the summertime, he was kissing up on this girl who was a sophomore, who was also somebody that I know. You remember Trey?
No.
JT son Trey? Yes, you do. JT son Trey.
Yeah.
It was his girlfriend. So JT son Trey went to school with us. It was his girlfriend at the time. Exactly. She was 2 years younger than us.
I'm about to say, yeah. Didn't you just say you graduated high school?
Exactly. So it was him and his best friend and her best friend. I knew them. We were cool. She was like my little sister. And I found out that they went to the movies and they was kissing up on each other.
How'd you
And
find this out?
how did I find out? I think I found out from Rakita. I feel like I found out from like one of my friends. Shout out to Rakita. But I remember calling him because we were broken up. But I remember calling him, and I was like, I think I pretty much like in a nice way cussed him out, and I told him, "Don't ever talk to me again. Like, don't ever talk to me again. We're not even cool because we were still cool at this time." And then I remember I called her, and I called her the 304, and yeah, I told her to lose my number essentially, and I just like let it go. But I was a freshman in Miami in school, so I didn't cry. I was upset and disappointed. I was really disappointed because I don't know. I felt like that was like a violation. Like if it was anybody else, I
Mhm.
would have been cool. It's fine. Like we weren't really together.
Technically, he didn't do nothing wrong. I just
Don't
want
do
to,
that.
Technically, he
I
didn't do
just
anything.
want to throw that out there.
But it's
Yes. No, no, no.
He did not deserve to get a nice curse out, and she did not.
Oh, yes, he
deserve
he
to be a
did. He
friend.
they knew
deserved
what they
that.
were doing. I see what you're saying. They knew what they were doing.
They were not together.
If it 100, we weren't together.
Talking. They was talking though. They was still talking. He could have had the
We
courage.
had been no, 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 no,
Under the
no, no.
premise that we knew we were separating and
Yes,
going our own
but
ways.
still,
So like,
it was still like we had been boyfriend and girlfriend pretty much all throughout high school. We were prom king and queen. Like people knew. People
Oh
knew.
my,
Like,
what?
knew.
You didn't say that. You didn't give me that story
We were
either.
prom king and queen. It was we were in the yearbook as like cutest couple. Like it was the whole thing.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
thank you. She knew me. She had my phone number. We talked.
Well,
Like
seems like everybody had your phone number. You was the prom queen.
I mean, it was a small high school, but still, nonetheless, like I felt like it was too close to home. That's what it was. It was too close to
Anybody funny,
home.
then it should be us because we was still talking even though we was not technically together. And
Yes.
if you had done such a violation as that, we would have had an issue. Wait, what? You have to say something.
I don't have
No,
anything
because
to
I feel like
say.
you had to say
I
something.
don't have. Look, first of all, if I did anything, you would not figure it out
No, because we had people at the church that was
because
calling me.
I call loyalty.
No, I had people. You had your people, I had my people, and they would call
And
me.
your people didn't know nothing about no takeover.
They was at take. What you talking about? The Jasmine's friend, so and so, so and so. I don't even know this girl's name.
Exactly.
She said you was smiling at some girl, and I said that's okay. I know he was smiling at her, but it wasn't nothing.
I know this to be true because Aaron would be like, I can't do nothing because Lindsay is crazy, and I know she's gonna find out. That's what
He's
Aaron used to say all the
crazy.
time.
he's also the MC. He got the mic. He's talking to everyone. Like
The
Hey,
opportunities that I missed out on, but God did that. He closed doors.
amen.
Yeah.
Were you ever heartbroken?
No, I'm gonna answer that question for you. I think it lasted all of about. I think this would have been my last girlfriend, Austria, and
Oh, man.
I think it was like the Ian. His name is Ian, and I got like wind like the run. He was starting running back on the varsity team, and like they were talking, and I was like, all right.
And you're on that same team, right?
No, I was already. Yeah, I had ulterior motives. I was already off the team. Had my conversation with the coach during the game. It was not pleasant, and I was already off the team.
But you were teammates, so he was your teammate.
Correct.
So you guys were friends, and he took your girl.
I knew of him. I mean, we were just on the same team. Like not everybody was cool.
And you were defense, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Offense.
I mean, yeah, it lasted like I think those 2 periods between nutrition and lunch. And I was just like, yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. So next, what are we doing? Like I think that that's a testament to just the way that I grew up. Man, I was busy. I didn't have time I was hungry. I was getting up way too early. I had way more stuff going on than what I had than focusing on that. So
I think that's which I thought this was gonna be interesting because yes, heartbreak is like not a thing for him.
yeah,
But
I said
No.
I said this. So
I know,
I was like, yo, I know nephew. For the people on the pod, I call nephew. I mean,
Jason.
God Poppy is called nephew. And I was like,
He was like, pick another topic. Jason is not gonna have nothing to say.
man,
but this is the thing.
Jason will have something to say about what to look for because I was like, I don't know if Lindsay knows what she's getting into, but if he was talking to Naima and Naima was heartbroken.
Yes, I knew that part was coming.
Naima's older now. She's not.
Correct.
She's like, let's say 20.
She's in her 20s, but it doesn't mean
Yeah.
she's still not getting a heart. Maybe she thought she was gonna get married to this man.
Right,
I mean, we don't know. But
Then I'm a handle him. You mess with my face.
stop.
I mean, she's priority number one. Like I have to unpack what she's feeling. What are we going? What were our expectations? What are we feeling right now? You know, what headspace are we in? How are we gonna get to our next arena, if you will? Like, how are we gonna get there? And I'm gonna, take that feedback from her, see what we can do, and I'm gonna interject any life experiences in which I have, right? I've never been, it can't be the empathetic route because I've never been in her shoes per se. But I'm gonna tell her what I know. I'm gonna give her what I got. So I mean, this is, yeah, literally my wife is my second serious. It's probably my first serious relationship. It is my first serious
You
relationship.
discounted this girl completely. Whoever this doctor
Well,
is.
yeah, with like a in between block schedule at school, it wasn't a real girlfriend, or she was your girlfriend.
I knew her.
She was. She was. I mean, we,
Yeah.
I don't know, a couple years.
Yeah. Did
Funny
y'all go to
story,
prom?
guys.
I didn't go to prom. No interest.
You was already
That's his
studying
problem.
the
That was
firefighter.
his girlfriend at the time. He should have gone to prom. He didn't. He let her go to prom with somebody else. That's why I was like, I couldn't have.
And
High school, if I met you? Oh, no.
probably why she
I mean, yeah, she wasn't the one. But here's the thing.
Well, wait, well, let me do say this. I have said this in previous pods. I was like, yo, I had a friend who was younger who told me girls will always be there. So focus on your business. And that friend is right here. He said this when he's younger than me. And he said this when I was like 15. He was 14.
You said it all the time.
Yeah. And he was just like, yeah.
Jason said.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Jason said like girls will always be there. So if you take care of your business now, by the time you get older, they'll be there. And he was not lying.
Here's the
And
thing.
but look, we got to give some backstory to that too, though, right? Thinking my history and how I grew up, having essentially two disabled people in my family. So 14, but yeah, I'm actually probably in a 22, 23-year-old headspace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, fast forward into getting onto the job. And, a lot of my coworkers are like, hey, man, I would have lost this at that age. But it's like, yeah, bro, your story it's not, you're not holding a candle to what I had to deal with. So unfortunately, but fortunately, this has prepared me for, life's obstacles up until this point. And I'm able to just, adapt and overcome, if you will.
So you had to be older, younger.
Essentially, yeah, I was forced to grow up faster is what I usually say.
I got a question for Jason. So, I mean, prayerfully, your son is not going to be growing up faster than he has to, right? So how would you handle him? He got hormones. He's 14, 15. He wants to, he got swag. His dad is probably a retired firefighter. He got 2, 3 properties under his.
Here's swag. Here's a short end of this story. Don't make me write you off this will. Don't do it. Because your sisters are gonna get raises, both of them.
I know, but
now I'll go back. I'll go back. That's a short.
And he's heartbroken. He was with this girl. He's with this girl, and she ends up kissing his best friend on the block in front of his friend's house by a tree.
You don't even have to go there. Y'all.
Well, yeah, man, there's a lot of things to unpack there. One, we really got to address if this is our friend. Who is this guy?
Exactly.
Are you serious right now? Like,
You
there's
still
a lack of respect there. Our boundaries, like, bro, this is a mess. Soup sandwich.
Everybody was dating and everybody was all together, y'all. Everybody was together. We was like happy.
No,
It was a happy
that
block.
was not a real thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't.
What do we always say? What do we always say about the kids in like dating? That they should know first is that they're what?
They're the prize. That's what they have to know. Like, understand that nobody's going to determine your self-worth. This hurts. Don't get me wrong. We're going to acknowledge your feelings 100%. I can understand why. Clearly, you saw that there was something more, and you were sought after something much more than, what this is potentially dissolved into. But I tell that down to even Neri, just looking at me, spit in my face. Hey, you are the prize. Absolutely. And I think that's just building the self-image of each one of them, not only just the daughters, but making sure your sons are aware of this as well. It's integral to who they are, as far as establishing their foundation. And so that would be the basis of the conversation in which I'm having. And then it's just going to be a lot of me, listening. I think that far too often we're quick to want to give all the answers and tell you what went wrong or how you should have did this or you should do that. Whereas you may have the answers and you just explaining or expressing, what you're feeling about the situation. So again, take that time to just be quiet and listen before I, and gather all the facts that I possibly can in that short time before offering any advice. Again, the only true relationship advice that I could offer would be something that I've experienced with his mother or her mother, or just one of my daughters. So, and how I would go about doing that if I were in that situation. Yeah, so that's kind of how I would approach it, or how I would handle that situation with him, or either of them for that matter.
You the prize.
You're the
You
prize.
surprised. Even for boys. I feel like that's important for boys to know.
What did you say?
I feel like that's important for boys to know because I think we have that thought for like our girls, but even for my son, like, no, you're the prize. So, like, don't just be dating anybody. Don't if she been that ain't for you.
Yep.
That ain't for you.
Don't end up out here like Dre, a little son boyfriend. What's that little kid name? He played for the Rockets.
I'm talking about Jalen Green.
Yeah, that dude.
Oh yes.
Yeah, don't end up like that's a mess. That's a mess and a half.
Yeah, but you are the prize, so you should carry yourself as much. You should carry yourself as such. And I think that even for guys, like thinking about that, hopefully that would help them think who they should be looking for in a partner or girlfriend or even somebody that you want to have a crush on. Like, is that worth it? Like, I don't know. Like, you're the prize, so like, is that somebody gonna bring home to me?
Meeting that at your level and what your current expectations are as a 14, 15-year-old, or versus, you being a 28, 29-year-old, right? The question is often, well, what are you bringing to the table? It's like, hold on, man, look, let's stop here, right? Like, and let's really talk about this, right? It's more than what he or she's eyes look like, and that dude's buff, this, that, and the other. What is the substance underneath? Am I going to be able to build a family with you that's going to be able to be sustained, and we're going to reach and seek goals that are higher and more far-fetched than we could ever think? That's going to be the level of what you need to dig into this person almost, so
maybe not at 14 though.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're meeting where that's the 28, 29-year-old, but yeah, 14 is like, yeah, bro, your grade's good. Can you spell your name? Like, you know what I mean? I don't. I'm saying, like, what are we doing right now? So,
all right, mama, take it home.
Okay, because we value time, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming on here, sharing your ins and outs about heartbreak. I'm really excited for our children to reach back into the archives and pull out these memories of us and then take these little gems and hold them in their hearts. So yeah, what you got, Jason?
I just remembered. So I don't know how I was able to do this, being that I hadn't experienced heartbreak, but I wrote each one of my siblings letters about expectations and what will be coming up for them in like life, by the way, which none of them adhere to. I'm just saying, I love them. No love lost. No love lost whatsoever. But a lot of the stuff that I dispelled in these notes or these letters 100% came to fruition. And again, that can only be a testament to God himself, like that I even had the thought to even do this. I literally was trying to prevent them from experiencing things such as like heartache or heartbreak and just all of this other stuff. So there was that. So I just thought I'd add that little piece in there as well.
Yeah, I want my daughter and son to experience not like super heartache, but no, not like heartache, but I do want them to have the trial and error. Like, okay, I see this red flag. I'm not going to go to that red flag again. Or like having experience was like, okay, he doesn't treat me like my dad treats my mom, or I don't want to treat her like my dad treats my mom. So I just need to leave her alone. Stuff like that. I think that is really important, just like pouring into them. And also they always looking like they probably right behind that door trying to listen and everything like that. So like I just think stuff like that is super important. And yeah, and just knowing that they're a prize is, I mean, that's a real key thing because they're so much more valuable in living every day.
I will say something too, like just out of heartbreak, the best thing that you can become is self-aware, like understanding why you feel the way you feel out of it and learning maybe what you can do to prevent yourself from being in that situation or how you overcome that. And I think that can be the lesson there, but you can also like help your child become self-aware before getting to that point. but you can also become more self-aware out of it, I would say. At least for me, I feel like that was the case. Like,
no, yeah, I agree. We're always reflecting. We're always becoming more aware, especially learning from a lesson, which is what you're saying. Like, we see it, we learn from it, and we don't make that mistake again. We pivot. Like, that's how we gonna grow. So,
seen that movie? No need to see the sequel. That's right.
no, we're not. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Please reach out to us. First Comes Love, TCM on Instagram.
Follow the YouTube at First Comes Love. No, at First Comes Love, period.
Right. And email us. Let's talk at firstcomeslove, talk to you Tuesday.
Thank you so much. We
did
did perfect timing.
I love you.
we did it. Love you too.
Have a good night.
Love it all.
Bye.
Bye.